Hey Tanis, I've looked over your lesson plan and here's my feedback. So this is a really cool lesson plan. It's very well done. I got to tell you, when I was teaching, because I worked with 11th graders and they had to do research papers, I was not super great at teaching them the skill of asking questions. And I, honest to God, I think you've done a beautiful job here. I'm going to push you to do a little bit deeper on the steps. Like you've got step one, and so I know you've got that concept, where I'm going to push you into like steps 2 and 3, okay? You've chosen the perfect goal for this, right? Analyzing the logic of a complex situation. And I think that the content you chose for it is perfect too. Looking at things like democracy, looking at things like, oil and gas prices and industry and everything. Which are very complex situations. So, nicely done. Your students will be able to is done well too. You have that they're going to begin their research project so that you acknowledge they're not mastering, and you've got their by clause and specifically developing questions. So, very well aligned from your evidence outcome through to your assessment and your learning plan. Nicely done, okay? Your context or hook is well done. I'd recommend you let the students sit with that just a second longer. What happens, like, you're at a party and you meet someone new and you introduce yourself, and then what, right? What's the next thing you say? Let them give you that. Let them give you, well, I don't know, I mean, if you think that they're kind of cool, like, you just go like, oh, so where do you go to school, or what do you do, or blah blah blah. Oh, good, so what are you doing? Asking questions. Let them sink into that experience just a tiniest bit more, okay? And then I love the transition. It's beautiful. So when we get a research paper, right, we're meeting a new topic, just like meeting a new friend, and we need to ask questions. So I think that transition here is really well done. Let's look at your model, and I like the fact that you've got this first step in here. Read the article together, and then look at the topic, okay? And so then over on the side, you're saying, 1, skim the article to get the gist. 2, look at the answer, or excuse me, look at the oh, for Pete's sake, draw, draw out and explicitly state what the topic is. Great. 3, pull research questions from the topic. 4, right, or maybe like 3A and B, because here's where I want you to dig deep. Oh my gosh, I love this analogy. It's great. It's a bit like Goldilocks, right? Right, too broad of a question gives us overwhelming information, too narrow gives us too little. So now let's define some criteria for that, right? We know the topic, we've drawn some research questions. How do we know if the research question is too broad or too narrow? And then have that be some of the steps in the process so that they can then take this out. They can then take this skill out and practice it on their own. And so think about deepening that a little bit, right, and giving them some criteria, even if it's criteria that you build together as a class, not necessarily information that you give to them. And then step number 4, which is perfect, how do you check your research question back to your topic to make sure that it's pertinent? Oh, well, go back into the text and check it against the text. So I think that's great. And then you lead them into guided practice with a really well chosen article. And so super fantastic. I think that is really well done. And I know that you're getting this notion of labeling these steps for them. Let's just see if we can't deepen you a little bit on that. Other than that, though, Tanis, this lesson plan looks fantastic.